Hi everyone and welcome to this video about in-app payments, purchases and subscriptions in React Native. In the past, I have made a video on this topic, but as you can see, it's been over 2 years now and a lot has happened in this space. So I will show you what kind of approach you would take now. Okay, so basically, in this video, I'll be using a package called React Native Purchases from um GitHub RevenueCat, and the Expo on the official documentation is linking to this package. And the reason for that is they basically stalled or paused the development on their own package Expo in-app purchases. Okay, so this one is one of the go-tos right now. And in this video, will specifically show how to get the in-app payments working using the Expo managed workflow for iOS. And I will do it from very scratch, so using a fresh Expo project. If there's some specific steps that is done only in Android, I will be linking in the description um, documentation for how to do that. If you're not using Expo, I believe this video will also be very useful for you to figure out how to do it. Um, but how to integrate the library in your project. But yeah, let's see. Let's see. Okay, so first things first, let's actually start a new project here. So for that, I'm going to do expo init dot, since I'm already in the folder I want to be. And I'm just going to run with a blank TypeScript project because I'm using basically TypeScript in all my projects. So after Yarn has installed all my dependencies for my new Expo project here, I need to add 2 additional dependencies for adding payments. And the first one is going to be called React Native Purchases. That's the one I showed before. But in addition to that, we are also going to need a different package, which is going to be the Expo Dev Client package. And the reason for adding this one is because we are going to be basically running some native modules that are not part of the Expo SDK. So the Expo SDK being this one that I showed earlier. So all these different libraries, components. So therefore, we're going to need to run some native code, which cannot run inside Expo Go. Okay, so we're going to need this dependency. Now, next step would be if we were just going to run it on a device, we could do Expo run iOS. But since we're actually using payments, we require a device to actually get started. We need to do something in addition. So just with push notifications, we cannot test um, them on a simulator. We need a real device. So since we're using Expo, we need to create a device. And we could do that by running the EAS device create command. Now, I have already set up my device, so I don't need to go through this process. But if this is your first time, just follow the wizard here on the bottom. Okay. All right. So next command is going to be the EAS build profile development platform iOS command. And now we might see an error here that's complaining about we don't have a eas.json file. That's because it wasn't created when we initialized our Expo project. So let's actually go ahead and create that. And let's see if we can actually do it or we need to fill something out. Okay, so here it just says it's empty. So what we can do now is we can go to the Expo documentation and just copy paste some very minimal EAS.json config here. Oops, put it up here, save it, and then rerun our build command. This build might take a little while, but let's see. Now we're gonna get asked some questions. What do you want your bundle identifier to be? I'm just gonna choose this. And now, next up, there will be some questions about your Apple account. All right, so after that's done, you should see a QR code here that you can scan with your phone, and that should open up the development build, and you can start basically making changes to the code here, and that should reflect on your device. Since for some reason I cannot screen mirror or share my screen from my physical device, you would just have to imagine that the app is currently running for me on my physical device here. So let's actually go up here and then import the package that we just installed, which is purchases from React Native purchases. After doing that, we can create a use effect. Inside here, we can do a little bit of asynchronous code. So let's define a main function as an asynchronous function like this. Now, when you're doing this the first time, would recommend doing purchases.set debug logs enabled. Set this one to true. And then next step is going to be purchases configure. And here you're going to pass in your API key. So we haven't got to that part yet, but basically you will have to set up your API key here. And then afterwards, you can actually grab your purchases by doing await purchases, get products, and then pass in the different products that you expect here. Okay. And then console log it out. But yeah, we can't do any of this yet. I just wanted to basically show you how little code actually needs to be written in terms of, basically grabbing your products and then start enabling functionality as like buying a product and so on and so forth. Okay. So this is the code. Now we're gonna move on with the remaining steps that would actually make this log statement print out the products. We need to get our project up and running on Apple's App Store Connect. And to do that, we need to make a production build. So let's actually just do a Expo build. Be forgetting the commands. It's EAS build. And then let's choose iOS. And let's go through this wizard again. I'm going to say no to push notifications. Okay, so now we're waiting again for the build to be uploaded. And this might seem a little bit dumb. First, we created a build for our device, and now we're creating a build for production. But this is because this is a fresh project. So we need a build that works on our device in development mode, but we also need a production build because we don't have a production build uploaded to App Store Connect. Okay, so we're just going to wait for this and then continue afterwards. All right, very important note here. So since we forgot to add the in our AS build command, we forgot to add the auto submit. We actually need to do a submit now after the build is done. So let's actually go ahead and do that. And after the submit is done, we should be able to go to App Store Connect and find our app there. All right, now my build has been submitted. So now this cool app appeared in my list of apps here. And I can go in here and start setting up my different purchases, subscriptions, whatever I want. So to do that, I'm going to go to the in-app purchases section down here. Or actually, I'm going to go to subscriptions because I want to do subscription for this demo. So in here, I'm asked to create a subscription group. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to call it cool subgroup. Press create. Okay. Now we can add some subscriptions under our group and also some App Store localization. I'll start with localization. Subgroup 1 test. Doesn't really matter, this is just a test, but here you put in the name of your subscription group, different languages. After that, I'm going to add subscription. Here I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to go with cool sub 1. And then the product ID is just going to be cool sub 1, one word. And this product ID is actually the one that we're going to put in our app. So we need to go back and copy paste this value for later. Anyway, I'll just create it. Cool. After that's been created, I need to add a few more things in here. So one thing is the duration. I'm going to put 1 week. Another one is the price. I'm just going to put the lowest price for this test, 5 crown. And I'm just going to say next. That sounds fine. Confirming the price. After that's been done, the price should update here. Now I need to add some localization. Just gonna call it sub 1 test, doesn't matter. Just filling in values here so I can basically submit my subscription. Down here we need to actually fill out these review notes even though we're just doing a test. So I'm just gonna put in some placeholder stuff. This image screenshot, we need to fill that one out. I'm just gonna grab a screenshot on my computer. So this is a picture of a phone. So it has some specific dimensions as you can see here. So 1170 times 2532 will work, but you can also choose other ones. I'm just gonna choose this one. But yeah, take a screenshot on your simulator, that should also work. Okay, after that I can press save. And now I'm just looking for anything that I missed. Okay, I don't think I'm missing anything. It says ready to submit here, which basically means I successfully created a subscription and there's nothing else to be done in here. Okay, so now we are moving into the last step, which is actually adding this product that I added in here, or this subscription, into RevenueCat. Okay, so I'm gonna go to RevenueCat and let's fill in the stuff in there. Okay, once you are onto app.revenuecat.com and logged in, you can go to projects up here and then create a new project. I'm going to call mine Cool App because that's the name I've been using so far. Now, all you need to do is choose which platform you have. If you're using React Native and you're doing both Android and iOS, you just need to add each one here. I'm doing iOS, so I will choose that one. Now for the app name, I called it Cool App. the app bundle ID, I can fetch this one from my app.json here. It should be in here. It's here. I can get this value, put it in there. Now here it's asking for a secret, and to get that secret, you need to actually go back to App Store Connect, go back to the subscriptions on the features here. If you scroll down a little bit, you can generate a new shared secret here. I'm going to generate one here, and I will set it here. Okay. After that's done, you can press save, and that's all you need to do for the app part. Now, previously we talked about an API key, so that's actually in here that we need to grab that. So here it already generated a public app specific key here, so I can grab this and I can put that in the code while I'm at it. Okay, add it there. Now the last thing you need to do is basically just the product setup, and we can do something called entitlements, which is kind of a layer on top of products, and the same with offerings. Like if you want to group stuff into for different users or whatnot, you can use these. More explanation here and also in the documentation. But I'm really just interested in the products part of it. So I'm just going to go to products directly and add my new product. And here I can choose the app I just created inside RevenueCat, and then I need to actually put in the product ID. And that's the one we added here. So if I go back, I can grab the product ID for my subscription, put it in here as the identifier and press add. And now I'm actually finished in RevenueCat, and I'm also finished in App Store Connect. So now I should be able to go back to my code and actually get these products. I need to make sure that the products that I put in here is going to be one of the product IDs that I've added in RevenueCat. Okay. Now, as I said, I cannot show you the app running on my device, but I can hopefully get a console up and running here, so hopefully we'll be able to see the products here in a moment. If you have lost your QR code from earlier, you can always go to expo.dev, find the build that you created. So this is my test build, and then basically use your camera app and then install the build directly from here. And yeah, let's go ahead and do it. After I've installed it on my app, it's now time to run the Expo start dev client, and this should basically hook me up to the build on my device. All right, so after scanning that QR code, I now have the app running on my device, and you can see here it's confirming that it's running on my name. So this is the name of my device, and I'm getting the product here actually printed to the console here. So I really wish I could show it on a simulator, but it will not work on a simulator because it's has something to do with payments. And yeah, that's a little bit of a shame, but yeah, it's quite cool. It's actually coming through now. So now I can do different things with these products, like issuing payments for one of them, and yeah, a ton of other things here that I won't go through. But now you can, this is really how you get started. And hopefully that made sense. If you're not using Expo, you're just using the raw build, you could say. A lot of these steps that I showed you can basically be avoided. I would say, but you still would have to do the setup in App Store Connect and also inside RevenueCat, but you don't need to worry about EAS and uploading a build there, then making a development build, which can take a little bit of time. And yeah, I hope that's useful for you guys out there. If there are any questions, put them in the description down below and I will try to answer the best I can, okay? I'll see you next one. Peace.